Have you ever noticed that there are things in your life that repeat themselves, as if in an old movie? Same type of person, same type of problem, same type of frustration? Today, I'm going to show you the step-by-step guide to breaking these patterns that are preventing you from moving forward. And I'm not talking about motivation. I'm talking about change the structure that keeps you stuck in the same place, like internal engineering. If you feel like this video was made for you, it's because it was. Some people think that life isn't going well because they lack luck, money, opportunities, a sign from God, or good energy. In most cases, that's not the case. What's missing is break the patterns that you repeat without realizing it. Some people change jobs, change relationships, change cities, and continue to experience the same pain. Because the problem isn't the setting. The problem is the pattern. This is the pattern. You change partners, but you repeat the same relationship. You change jobs, but you experience the same frustrations. You move to a different city, but you carry the same internal conflicts with you. And there is one type of pattern that is the most dangerous, the one you don't see. Every time something repeats itself and you think, I don't know why this always happens to me, you've just touched your blind spot. A blind spot is an active pattern that you don't see, but repeat. He always arrives as a surprise. Oh my God, this again? I promised that this time it would be different. When you don't see the pattern, you can't change it. Therefore, identifying the blind spot is the first invisible step towards change. So today, I'm not just going to explain to you what patterns are. I'll give you one clear step-by-step so you can start breaking that down still this week. Take this opportunity to subscribe to the channel and learn new ways to experience allowance in your life. Before the step-by-step instructions, you need to understand how a pattern truly breaks down. And this is where the 3 layers of the pattern come in. First layer, you stop doing. You recognize the pattern and try to avoid it. You run away from the situation, cut off contact, isolate yourself. It's the beginning, but it's not the breaking point yet. Second layer, you does things differently, but with difficulty. You still feel the urge to repeat the old behavior, but you start choosing a different response. It's uncomfortable, tiring. It feels like it goes against who you used to be. Third layer, you does things differently with ease. The new behavior becomes natural. You don't need to force yourself to stand up for yourself, say no, make better choices, or decide for yourself. And there are 3 types of patterns. Emotional pattern that brings you fear, guilt, shame. Relational pattern, you repeat roles, savior, victim, persecutor. Decision pattern, you always decide in the same way regardless of the situation. If you don't know which type is active, you try to fix the wrong place. And this is where many people are mistaken. There is no breaking the pattern without going through the 3 layers. If you simply avoid the situation, you haven't broken the pattern. You've only changed the scenery. Let me give you a very practical example. Imagine someone who has the following pattern to sabotage themselves professionally. Every time things start to get better, this person, if it's late, misses deadlines, enters into conflict with someone, or simply give up. She looks and thinks, I'm unlucky, nothing ever goes right for me. It's not bad luck. It is a pattern of not feeling worthy of growing up. So, what does she do? Instead of facing the norm, she changes jobs, changes bosses, changes projects. But it carries the same pattern along. This is the #1 mistake people make when they want to change, trying to change life without changing the pattern. Many people say, everything goes wrong for me. It must be the evil eye. God doesn't look at me. The universe is chasing me. No, in the vast majority of cases, it is neither spiritual nor energetic. It's just life bringing us back to the same situation again to see if, this time, you answered differently. It's not punishment. It's an opportunity to layer up in the pattern. Every person who repeats a pattern has a narrative that protects that pattern. That's the way I am. It's my destiny. It's bad energy. None of that is true. It's just the mind trying to keep alive something that should have already been overcome. Let's understand the step-by-step guide to breaking patterns that prevent you from moving forward. I'm going to give you a simple but profound sequence. If you take this seriously, you'll never look at your life the same way again. Before step 1, think with me and reflect. What always repeats itself in your life? What automatic emotion appears? What thought triggers it? What behavior do you repeat? What result comes back? Which layer are you on? This exercise will begin to break the pattern you carry. Learn to identify it. If necessary, go back to this video and answer these 6 questions on paper. They will bring clarity to what you need. Step 1, name the pattern, not the event. People confuse this all the time. Event is, the relationship is over, the money ran out, the car crashed, my boss yelled at me. The standard is the way you react to these events. So you're going to write, whenever event, I, behavior. Example, whenever someone threatens to leave, I beg them to stay. Whenever a great opportunity arises, I create a problem. Whenever I see something difficult, I procrastinate. When you do that, you stop blaming life and begin to see the script that you repeat yourself. Step 2, accept that the problem needs to surface. This is the part that hurts the most. The person notices the pattern and says, now I want to make sure this never happens again. But if the situation doesn't repeat itself, where are you going to prove that you've changed? How do you get to the second layer if you're never exposed to the same trigger? So yes, a similar relationship will appear again. A similar boss will appear again. A situation similar to the one that brought you down will come along again. And it's not because life hates you. It's because you need a specific scenario to act differently. And here's something serious. Those who outsource decisions never break the pattern. Because those who don't decide don't evolve. Every time you wait for someone else to decide for you, you are saying, I'm not ready for the next layer. Step 3. You can change the type of event, but you can't avoid it. What does this mean in practice? If you have a consistent pattern to take everything alone, you don't need to wait for a tragedy to happen to practice a new behavior. You can reduce the impact. Instead of seeing it as a giant problem, you train on a smaller field. Example, before you could solve everything. Bills, family problems, work headaches, everything. Now you choose a smaller field to train on. Letting someone else handle a simple matter. Resisting the urge to save everyone. Letting someone else deal with the consequences of their own actions. You don't stop the event. You change the way you enter it. Step 4. Do something different, even if it's uncomfortable. This is where people want magic. But there is no real change without discomfort. If your previous standard was saying yes to everyone, begging someone to stay, taking on problems that are not your own, avoid difficult conversations, now your job is to do the opposite. Even if your voice trembles, even if you're short of breath, even if your mind tells you it's going to go wrong, because to break the pattern, the second layer always hurts. It's like training a new muscle. It feels sore, strange, and unstable. But it is precisely this pain that proves to your internal system that you are changing. If it didn't hurt, you're not breaking the pattern. You're just repeating it in a nicer way. You know you've broken a pattern when the situation arises and you respond differently. You don't feel guilty. Don't be afraid. You don't need courage. It simply does what needs to be done. Step 5. Repeat until the new behavior becomes natural. This is the third layer. The time when you do things differently effortless, without guilt, without punishing oneself, without needing courage every day. Here, you're no longer fighting against the old standard. He simply stopped being you. What was once survival, now it's a new identity. This is where life releases you to the next phase. And be warned, the pattern may return. This is not a step backward. Is it a new phase, a new context, or an attempt by the old self to survive? If it comes back and you respond differently, you validate the new layer. Let me tell you something important. I once accompanied a person who is experiencing the same emotional pattern. Whenever someone did something wrong, she was rushing to solve it. It was automatic. It was almost a reflex. When she started breaking that pattern, life continued to bring situations where someone made a mistake. But she began to say, "Not this time. You handle it." At first, I was trembling. The second time, he almost went back on his word. On the third try, she realized something. The world doesn't fall apart when you put yourself first. Now, pay attention to this. You don't break the pattern by avoiding the situation. You break the pattern by living the situation and responding differently. If you avoid it, you repeat it. If you face challenges, you evolve. Life doesn't give you what you want. Life sends you what it needs to move up a level.
The cycle will always be the same. Event, makeover kitten, that activates your old standard, and you have the chance to choose one new behavior that takes you to another layer, that validates you in your new identity. If you consciously repeat this cycle, you not only break patterns, you create a completely different life. Let me leave you with this. Life is not against you. Life is training you. Each repetition, each frustration, each return of the same problem, all of this is life telling you, now is your chance to respond differently. When you change the way you respond, life changes the way it treats you. Now tell me, what pattern are you ready to break? Comment here. Sometimes, just by naming it, you already move up a level.